here is the statue of Lot's wife.
They found Lot's wife. Archaeological evidence confirms the Bible again, and the world is reeling. In a remote corner near the Dead Sea, something buried for millennia has just come to light, and it's sending shockwaves through science and religion alike. Even Tucker Carlson weighed in, calling it one of the strangest and most compelling discoveries of our time. Actual footage is now making the rounds online.
But there might be something in that metaphor that could tell us more about the catastrophe itself.
And experts are scrambling to explain what many believe confirms one of the Bible's most haunting stories. What was once dismissed as myth may now be standing tall in salt, staring straight into history. The forgotten city beneath the salt. Long before archaeologists brought cameras and excavation tools into the desert, the story of Lot's wife had already carved its way into human imagination. A woman fleeing a city on fire, warned not to look back, does exactly that and is frozen in time, transformed, according to scripture, into a pillar of salt. For centuries, people assumed it was symbolic, a moral tale to caution against longing for a sinful past. But what if it wasn't just symbolism? What if something physically remained? The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were said to be so wicked that divine fire was their only cure. Ancient texts describe a sudden catastrophe, one so intense that it erased entire populations overnight. Smoke rising, land collapsing, and ash covering what used to be homes. It all sounds mythical, but the curious thing is, people have been searching for these lost cities since antiquity. Roman writers, Islamic geographers, and even 19th century Christian explorers all believed they could find remnants of this biblical disaster somewhere near the Dead Sea. And it makes sense. The region is one of the most geologically unique areas on Earth. It sits in a deep rift, the air is thick with minerals, and the land itself seems scorched and sunken. Near the southern basin, there's an eerie silence, broken only by wind rustling through crumbling cliffs made of salt and stone. Here, strange formations appear on the horizon, including a massive salt mountain known as Mount Sodom. Its name alone carries centuries of speculation, but it's what lies within and around that mountain that has attracted renewed interest. Not long ago, a new generation of researchers returned to this ancient terrain, not as religious pilgrims, but as forensic scientists, geologists, and archaeologists. Their goal wasn't to confirm miracles, but to trace seismic activity, test mineral layers, and model ancient climates. Still, even they couldn't ignore the stories. And as their instruments probed deeper into the earth, something began to surface. Evidence of extreme heat in the soil layers, the presence of naturally occurring sulfur balls, and a pattern of destruction unlike anything explained by natural erosion alone. There were even strange voids beneath the surface, air pockets where it looked like ground had collapsed rapidly, perhaps violently. The researchers found burned sediment layers interspersed with unburned ones, suggesting a rapid and chaotic event rather than a slow geological shift. Even the air, they reported, felt denser, heavier, as if it carried the weight of history. Still, no one was talking about Lot's wife yet. The idea of finding her, or any human trace tied directly to the story, seemed laughable to the scientific community. What could possibly survive thousands of years in such conditions, especially in salt, which corrodes and crumbles? But others, particularly those watching from religious and historical circles, weren't so quick to dismiss it. They had seen strange things in this desert before. And the truth is, many of the most significant biblical sites, once dismissed as myths, have been gradually corroborated by archaeology. Jericho, Hazor, Nineveh, all cities mentioned in Scripture, unearthed one by one. So now the focus shifted to the least understood of them all, Sodom, or what might remain of it, buried under a crust of minerals and layers of silence. No one could say for sure where the city once stood, but Mount Sodom had become the center of attention for reasons beyond its name, because something had been found there. And this time, it wasn't just another salt pillar. It was something else entirely. Something shaped like a person. Something preserved more perfectly than anyone thought possible. But before we reveal what they saw when they